what is described as a historic visit, President Adama Barrow welcomed his Turkish counterpart to the Gambia, His Excellency President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, as the first Turkish head of state to ever visit the Gambia. What does this visit mean for the Gambia-Turkey relations? January has also witnessed the groundbreaking inauguration of the Chinese Grand International Conference Center, now renamed as the Sadao de Karaba Jawara International Conference Center, where President Barrow expressed his commitment to the Gambia-China relations. President Barrow in the same month presided over the opening of the fourth legislature of the ECOWAS Parliament, where he called on other ECOWAS institutions to draw inspiration from the ECOWAS Parliament. Legal year opening was another moment the President reiterated his government's commitment to a credible and independent judiciary. My name is Zainab Fall and welcome to the President's Diary. At exactly 2:30 of Monday afternoon, the 27th of January, the Turkish presidential jet smoothly landed on the tarmac of the Banjul International Airport. A historic moment about to unfold with the arrival of the Turkish president for the first time in the Gambia. President Barrow, together with the First Lady and senior officials of his government, were at the foot of the aircraft to receive President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and the First Lady Erdogan, who disembarked from the aircraft, excitedly looking at the crowd that came to welcome them. After the usual airport ceremonies, the convoy left for the presidency, where the two leaders held a tete-a-tete, followed by a signing ceremony between the two countries. The two leaders held a joint press conference where they reaffirmed commitment to what they refer to as excellent bilateral relations.
I will seize this opportunity to thank Your Excellency for the goodwill, friendship, and strong ties of cooperation between Turkey and the Gambia. This visit is to strengthen these relations further for the mutual benefit of our peoples. Your Excellency, over the years, cooperation has been established and support from Turkey received in vital sectors of our economy. The various agreements signed between the two countries, especially during my last visit to Ankara, amply demonstrate the high-level cooperation between our two countries. Your government has demonstrated strong support to our transitional program with military support to the sum of $17 million for a period of 5 years, which is ongoing. As evidence, with the formation of the Joint Economic Commission between our two countries, trade and investment matters hold a flagship position within our cooperation, and this is vital for the private sector of both countries. Through these partnerships, we have witnessed the commencement of the Banjul-Istanbul route with Turkish Airlines, thus opening up a new frontiers in business between our two countries. My government is ready to enhance and explore economic agreements with Turkey through foreign direct investment. Also, strong people-to-people ties continue to underpin the many facets of excellent bilateral relations between the Gambia and Turkey. Your Excellency, I will conclude by reiterating that your visit will further strengthen our bilateral cooperation and mutual interest to promote socio-economic development of our people.
President Erdogan, reiterating the enhancement of the trade link between the Gambia and Turkey, said the Turkish investors focus on projects that will bring about development in Africa. He highlighted that Turkey works to improve economic relations with Africa based on mutual benefits, which goes beyond buying and selling of goods, but also generate jobs and contribute to the development of the continent. Making particular reference to the Gambia, President Erdogan said the Turkish investors whose prestigious projects are manifestly successful in other African countries will make investment in the Gambia in the area of agriculture, tourism, energy, construction, and technology. In the evening of the historic visit, President Barrow hosted a banquet in honor of the visiting head of state and the First Lady. To give a bit of background to Gambia's relation with Turkey, let's now have the Director of Press and Public Relations, Office of the President, Madam Ami Bojang Sissoho.
Thank you very much, Zainab. I think the visit has indicated that the Gambia is on the right track for its development, because it has indicated that Turkey and Gambia had a history, and we can reference to 2010 when the Gambia opened its diplomatic mission in Turkey, and also 2 years later in 2012, Turkey also opened a diplomatic mission in Banjul. Aside from that, it has also indicated the possibilities that are available, because if you look at the Turkish economy, some are predicting that by 2023, it will be among the 10 largest economies in the world. So that gives us a potential of investors who can come to the Gambia and invest in the Gambia to develop in the areas of industry, agriculture, youth engagement. We can do a lot as far as Turkey is concerned. The potential it has is also to support the government in its development aspiration towards achieving the National Development Plan. Because if we have investors coming in these various areas, it will increase trade between Turkey and Gambia. It will also open the potential for Gambia to expose to our neighboring countries. All these are potentials, and we are very optimistic that the visit of President Erdogan is going to increase that pace of engagement between the two countries and the two peoples. We have also realized that relationship between the Gambia and Turkey is further strengthening with the visit of the president, because apart from the official level, at the personal level, it will give the two heads of states the opportunity to further interact in a more intimate way, where they can discuss heart-to-heart about issues that affect their countries and their peoples. So it is a good opportunity, and we were very proud that he has chosen to come to the Gambia, and we are very proud that we have hosted him in a very professional way, and he has been able to fulfill the objective of coming to the Gambia. If you look at the relationship between the Gambia and Turkey, when the president visited Turkey, it was an opportunity to be exposed to what Turkey is and what it is capable of. And he has been pushing to ensure that we have Turkey reciprocate that visit, and this is why we have this visit today. And we are very happy that it happened. And we also know that Gambia can learn a lot. Apart from the official delegation, we had in the Turkish delegation hundreds of business people, investors, and they were able to partner with our Gambians in the Gambia Chamber of Commerce to see how best they can cooperate to establish and strengthen the economic links that can be between the two countries. So we're happy. And the coming of President Erdogan, I would say, is the icing on the cake. Within these 3 years, President Adama Barrow has been president. He is the 6th head of state that has visited Gambia. Apart from having our African colleagues, like the president of Senegal, of course, is a, let's say, Gambian. He visited Gambia on several occasions. We had Sierra Leone former president visiting the Gambia. We have Sierra Leone current president visiting the Gambia. We have, for the first time, the German president visiting the Gambia. We have, for the first time, the Indian president visiting the Gambia. And we have the first time a president from Turkey visiting the Gambia, together with having the British royal family also having an official visit to the Gambia, I think, is demonstration of President Adam Barrow's desire that the Gambia should open up after close-up for 22 years to show the world that we are ready to partner in development, to show the world that the Gambia is willing to be friends with who has similar goals and objectives for the desire of improving the livelihoods of their people. And this is what it is demonstrating. It is demonstrating that the Gambia is on the right path, because people like such high-profile people will not choose a country where they are not comfortable with. And it shows that the Gambia is on the right track in what it is doing in terms of, apart from our freedom and our liberty, you realize that the Gambia is also pushing to make sure that we have a government that is accountable, a government that is transparent in all its ramifications, because it has also, you will recall, pushed some bills to the National Assembly to reinforce and give us the legal framework in which our institutions will be operating. Therefore, we are proud that the world is seeing that. We are proud that the world is recognizing it. We are proud that Gambians also are recognizing this potential. We just appeal that everybody will continue to work together to ensure that the mother Gambia is the best of the best. And we need to also appeal to everybody to understand that change is not an easy task. It's a continuous task. But the fact that outsiders are seeing such a beautiful picture of the Gambia, we should also encourage that we see the picture that we are creating for ourselves.
All right, viewers, from that very insightful background on Ankara-Banjul relations, let's now look at the groundbreaking inauguration of the Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center. In March of 2019, President Barrow visited the construction site of the ICC and was assured that it will be completed on time. Few months ahead of the scheduled date, on January 11th, President Adama Barrow inaugurated the $50 million edifice constructed by a grant from the People's Republic of China. In his inaugural address, President Barrow renewed his commitment to the bilateral relation between the Gambia and the People's Republic of China.
The Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center is a $50 million project grant aided by the People's Republic of China. The magnitude of the project demonstrates the People's Republic of China's resolve to link its development plan with development support to the Gambia and Africa as a whole.
The state-of-the-art edifice consists of a hall with a sitting capacity of over 1,000 persons, 4 themed rooms, 4 press rooms, 14 meeting rooms, offices, and a banquet hall. At the end of the ceremony, the President was taken on a conducted tour of the facilities. To grace the occasion of the opening of the 2020 legal year, President Barrow arrived at the High Court complex in Banjul, where he was greeted with a beautiful parade by members of the Gambia Bar and the judiciary. During his address, President Barrow reiterated his government's commitment to the strengthening of a credible and independent judiciary system in the Gambia. Highlighting the significance of the event, the President said a sound national justice system administration is vital for the stability and development of any nation, citing the government's efforts in retaining the finest indigenous legal minds for both the judiciary and state law office.
When Gambians voted for change in 2016, they chose democratic rule over dictatorship, the rule of law over misuse of power, and respect for human rights over disregard of freedoms and civil liberties. We know that government commitment to good governance and the protection of human rights goes a long way in supporting the judiciary and the legal profession.
Addressing that more work needs to be done in addressing the various challenges in the legal sector, President Barrow said his government will continue in its efforts to maintain a public confidence in the judiciary through the appointment of required members of judges at the High Court of the Gambia.
I pay tribute to all those in the criminal justice chain who have contributed in one way or another to the justice delivery system in the country. Keep up the good work. In conclusion, I must reiterate once again my government's commitment to providing a sustained, conducive environment for an efficient, transparent, and fair legal system in the Gambia.
Viewers, be reminded that you are watching the President's Diary, brought to you by the Media and Communications Unit of the Presidency. Now let's look at the recently concluded session of the 4th Legislature of the ECOWAS Parliament, where President Barrow presided over the opening session. In his opening statement, President Adama Barrow exhorted other ECOWAS institutions to get inspiration from the community parliament in the drive to reviewing and evaluating the scope and mandate of their operations. While commending the body for the decision to review the 4th legislature of the parliament, President Barrow said it is obligatory to examine the challenges confronting the community and its institutions.
It is best practice to review your performance and results to be accountable to the community you represent. This will justify the investments and resource inputs for your activities, thus making this meeting imperative.
He applauded the ECOWAS Parliament for the strides registered during the last years to mediate and find solutions to the numerous security challenges that exist in the sub-region.
The Authority of Heads of States of ECOWAS has noted with deep appreciation to the various missions of ECOWAS parliamentarians to various hotspots to initiate dialogue between the contending parties.
We want no borders between our citizens. These were the words of the President-elect of Guinea-Bissau, His Excellency Umaru Sissoco Embalo, who came to the Gambia to strengthen bilateral ties between the Gambia and Guinea-Bissau, and also used the opportunity to invite President Adama Barrow, who he described as a brother, to his inauguration scheduled for this month. President-elect Embalo told journalists that he came to the Gambia to affirm that the Gambia will be his priority once he is inaugurated, and that there will be no laissez-passer between Banjul and Bissau, following his closed-door meeting with President Barrow. He expressed optimism that better prospects lie ahead of Guinea-Bissau after years of political instability, which will enable the two countries to forge ties in education, health, agriculture, tourism, and culture, as well as strengthen regional integration under his leadership. In other engagements of the President in the month of January, the German ambassador to the Gambia, His Excellency Stephen Rockin, informed President Adama Barrow that Germany would elevate its diplomatic presence in the Gambia higher than a liaison officer.
This year, we want to increase our diplomatic presence. For the first time, we would send a diplomat from Germany, if everything goes well, in a few weeks, to intensify political, economic, and cooperation relations and cultural relations.
His visit is a follow-up to the German president's visit in the Gambia in 2017, where the two leaders discussed ways of intensifying the already strong bilateral relations between the two countries. Prior to the Turkish president's visit to the Gambia, the new Turkish ambassador to the Gambia, Tolga Bemek, presented his letter of credence to President Adama Barrow at the State House in Banjul. After the presentation, he told the waiting press that the Turkey-Gambia relations with the Gambia is excellent, which is why the Turkish president chooses to visit the Gambia. He vowed to use the opportunity during his tour of duty to develop the trade volume between the two countries by bringing in more Turkish investors to the Gambia. In a separate engagement, President Adama Barrow bid farewell to the High Commissioner of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mr. Ibidapo Obi Olusegun, who came to the end of his tour of duty after serving 3 years. This is what he told the press after his audience with President Barrow.
Yes, I did come here to bid the President farewell upon completion of my diplomatic assignment to the Gambia. And then I can tell you that there has been tremendous progress and development in the Gambia that I witnessed when I initially arrived in 2017, both in terms of economic development and the democratic governance, the enthronement of the rule of law, and best practices. Although if I had my ways, I want to continue to represent Nigeria and the Gambia, but of course, duty calls that I go back home. But I'm quite pleased to be leaving Gambia a better country, a more prosperous country, a country where freedom of expression, freedom of association, the rule of law is what is the guiding principles of the country.
The National Human Rights Commission paid a courtesy call on President Adama Barrow to brief him on some of the activities that they've been embarking on after 11 months of operation. Viewers, that brings us to the end of this episode of the President's Diary. And from the production team of this program, we are saying a big thank you. And I have been your presenter, Zainab Fall. See you again next month for another exciting episode of this program.